Tracy, seeing that there is another girl in the picture, Tracy pushed harder on Paul, and finally, Tracy succeeded in getting a kiss. Hey guys, this is one of the dangers of dating a married woman. Paul has never fallen in love before, and Paul ended up falling in love with a married woman. David has a wife, and David has refused to pay attention to his wife. All he does is to sleep around with different women and comes back home to give his wife countless of excuses that he is very busy at work.
Yes, I'm tired, okay? And I have a lot of work to get to tomorrow morning, so I am tired.
David would want his wife to stay in the house and do all the chores at home. At the same time, Tracy, being David's wife, doesn't really know how to cook delicious meal, and this was just a little thing happening in the house. Paul just got back from NYC. Paul and his sister will always put up drama in the house just to spice up the beautiful home.
You saw how excited I was to welcome this fish, and the first thing he did was insult me.
Mom, I did not insult her. It was a compliment, but she just went berserk.
Paul's mom is so excited to see that her son has completed his NYSC.
That's the man of the moment.
Paul's mom is so interested if Paul has gotten a job or not. Paul learns that they have a new house neighbor, and Paul decided to pay a visit. Fortunately, Paul ran into Tracy, and at glimpse of Tracy, Paul was totally confused. Paul is carried away with Tracy's beauty. Anyways, in most cases, dating or going into a kind of romantic relationship with a neighbor, it doesn't really go well. Also comment down below, let's see if other people have a different opinion about dating a next door neighbor. All the same, they exchanged pleasantries.
Now you want to get involved with the girl next door?
Paul automatically fell in love with Tracy. Paul one day decided to pay a visit to Tracy's house. Tracy welcomed Paul. In the course of their discussion, Paul lamented and complained on how he needed a job badly. Well, it was just an opportunity for Tracy, and Tracy offered the job of a house cook to Paul. So Paul accepted the job offer wholeheartedly, and Tracy made it known to him that when her husband comes back, they will now seal the deal. On hearing Tracy mentioned her husband, Paul was shocked and disappointed. Paul quickly left the house. Paul felt bad. Paul was just angry that Tracy is married, and more like he felt that he wouldn't get a chance with her anymore. Have you ever wanted to date someone and along the line you just realize that this person is married or engaged or maybe in a serious relationship?
But I can't begin to explain how I feel about that girl. I've never felt like this for any girl before.
His first time of falling in love with a girl, he is falling in love with a married woman. I really can't fathom how Paul could lock himself up in the room feeling sober that someone is married. Paul finally met Tracy's husband, and they agreed to the terms of the job, and the job was offered to him. David wouldn't pay attention to Tracy in whatsoever, and he would always come up with one business trip or one business meeting, and Tracy is stuck in her loneliness. How can a full-fledged man work for a full-fledged lady in an enclosed place? Paul already began to work in the house, and Tracy already began making advances at Paul. But Paul will always turn her down. Paul is stuck in between Tracy and his job. Tracy would always have problems with David over his countless cheating lifestyle. But Tracy keeps on tolerating and bearing David. Paul tried as much as he can to focus on his job. He couldn't still take off his mind off Tracy. The best way to really stay away from temptation is to avoid it completely. Don't ever tell yourself that you are too strong, that you overcome it. You will never. You will end up like Paul. Fast forward into the whole affairs. Paul's mom began to develop an ill feeling about Paul's job. Fast forward into Paul's work. Tracy finally succeeded in getting a kiss from Paul. One day, while David was sleeping, Tracy sneaked out with his phone. Tracy found out that David had been having another affair with a girl called Cynthia. How many of you sneak out with your partner's phone? What do you see? The next morning, Tracy made a hard step towards Paul, and they ended up in a romantic moment. While Paul rendered his services as a cook in the house, Paul also rendered services as a lover. This relationship kept on going on and on and on. From time to time, Paul was excited and happy. But his sister never knew where the source of his happiness was coming from. And one day, Paul's sister noticed how close Paul was with Tracy. Paul's sister scolded Paul so badly.
Oh, this is totally wrong and unacceptable.
I am not sleeping with her.
That Paul confessed and said that he was hopelessly in love.
Once you are cheating, you will be so busy covering your tracks. For the pro out there, kudos, man. It takes a whole lot of energy to cheat because you keep on covering one track to another. But the irony part of it is that while you're trying to cover up your tracks, when your partner starts, you won't be able to dictate unless you're just dating a dummy.
Why do your likes love to shame this gender? You made the decision to marry your husband, and from where I stand, you do not lack a thing.
Confronting Tracy over her affairs with her brother, Paul's sister couldn't control the situation. Paul's sister ended up telling their mom.
Mom,
Yes.
Paul is sleeping with a married woman.
You have decided to have an affair with a married woman.
And Paul was adamant, and Paul walked out in the midst of the conversation. At this moment, everybody is running helter-skelter on how to really get these two people out of this dangerous affair. Paul continued his affairs with this lady.
However, going into an affair with a married man, a married woman, is a very dangerous game because it's never a genuine love. It's always for a selfish reason.
And one night, Tracy called Paul and told him to quickly come over to the house, that something terrible has happened. Paul rushed to the house only to see Tracy's hand soaked in blood. Tracy already killed her husband.
No, it happened. Please come, please.
Tracy told Paul that they needed to dispose his body. But in the course of that, Tracy already called the police.
I will shoot.
He's obsessed with me. What? I didn't know.
And told them that someone killed her husband. Paul was arrested.
Just calm down.
People who really go into cheating cheat out of their selfish reasons. They really don't care about you genuinely. If you think what I'm saying is not correct, check whoever you are cheating with. This time around, Tracy planned her activities. She wanted to sell the husband's property. And unfortunately, Paul was just the scapegoat. So while you're cheating with someone, open your eyes widely. You never can tell the true intentions of your co-partners. Stay safe out there. This is Nigerian Wedding Showcase, and see you next time in one of our upcoming and interesting videos. Click and subscribe. Bye.